I was born in Fort McMurray, way back in the day of 1950. And the year that I left to go to high school was the year that that road was built through. I was raised by people who lived off the land. We ate fish, we ate moose meat, we ate muskrat, we lived and we ate off the land. Then I came back. When I went to high school, I came back for Easter holidays and summer holidays, and all of a sudden it was absolutely swarming with people who only came there for money. They were not people who cared about the land, who lived off the land, who even gave the land a thought. No more could we just swim in our lake. We had to wear running shoes. And even then, people were getting their feet cut. There was absolutely no respect for that land that raised me, that raised our generations. But this fight that we are involved in, this movement that we're involved in, has been going on for a very long time. The Constitution of this country and the Constitution of the United States of Canada was inspired in part by the Iroquois Confederacy. The part that they did not take is that women choose who the leaders are. They did not take the part where children are put in the center of the circle and the women are put around them and the men stand on the outside and protect what the needs are of what the core of our society is supposed to be. That's natural law. And our elder who spoke first said we're keepers of the land, and that means we're keepers of the natural law. And as much as we have suffered Holocaust, we have suffered genocide. The Cree word for fire is escoteo. It's made up of two words, esquo, which means woman, mete, which means heart. Fire is woman's heart. Is it any wonder that our language was outlawed? Because we stand with natural law, is it any wonder that our ways were outlawed? As soon as they got over their scurvy, they had to get rid of us. They come here for religious freedom. What they do, outlaw our religion. Because we're connected with the earth. We know, my mother's people knew, always knew, and know to this day that the earth is alive. My father's people just figured it out in the 60s. When their little instruments started moving a little bit. Oh my God! It's just like a couple days ago when they found something that goes faster than light. Wow! You know? So, and that's a part of the chasm that we have. And something that I just realized yesterday is about the time that my father's people realized that the earth is alive, that's when Indigenous women got the right to vote in Canada. And just a little interesting note that the suffragette movement got its inspiration from the Iroquois Women's Society. And yet it took that long for us to get our vote. Now what is that difference? But that's okay. But that's okay. Because there was a chief called Babastis in Alberta, whose traditional land was always on this side of the river. But they wanted to build a railroad through. And Louis Riel was hanged because he was standing up to make sure that laws to protect human rights were established in the territory before the railroad came through. Because the only laws that existed were corporate laws. And it was the mandate of the government to get human rights established, and what they do, they hanged them. All right. So this is a long time battle that we're on. So they wanted to build a railroad on this side of the river. Everybody knew Babastis' summer land is there. And they tried to negotiate. They communicated and they, met in in confidence that there was some kind of communication going on. And then one night, the white people came, my father's people, we'll call them, you know, and come and set the teepees on fire in the middle of the night. And so the men, the braves, the warriors, wanted to go and fight. They wanted to go and use violence. And Papas Jess was the political leader and the spiritual leader. He went into his tent and he came out and he said, these people are blinded and deafened by greed. And they have so many people, they have so much artillery that we will be slaughtered. You can fight, that's your choice. But there will be a generation of their children who will be our friends. And so here we are today. We are all a part of the natural force. And we who are here are recognizing that. And there are many who are waking up and remembering that they're a part of the natural force. One of the tactics was to swift-boat us and say that we had no God. And a part of the residential school system was to disconnect us from our creative force, because that's where the power is. If you want to tangle with the natural force, then I know where I'm going to put my money. And as far as I'm concerned, the way it seems to me and what I've come to understand, that if they want to expand the tar sands and up that production, that's going to create so much more poison, that's cancer. The earth has cancer. And if they think that the hurricanes and the winds and the tornadoes and the floods and everything are hard right now, amp that tar sands production. Amp it. And see what happens then. Because the natural force is about balance. And if we're not doing the things that are of balance, she's going to look after it. So, and there's no energy more powerful than the natural force. So thank you for standing with your heart and standing with your spirit for generations and generations.
Gonna announcement now out to Tantoo Cardinal from Anzac, just south of Fort McMurray. It's with great